If you've ever played a Trials game from Finnish development studio Red Links, then you're likely to agree that they are masters of simulated physics, sometimes to a painful degree. Their latest entry in the long-running series, Trials Rising, puts on another show by delivering increasingly more challenging and elaborate courses. Reaching the finish line isn't so much about raw speed or power, but about overcoming the intricate physics-based obstacles in a puzzle-like fashion. The painstaking detail put into Rising's physics system is impressive and lives up to the series' reputation. This meticulous approach has caused more than a few headaches for newcomers in the past, drawing criticisms that the games haven't offered enough training to master the more difficult mechanics required to complete later levels. Rising addresses this issue by including an optional tutorial section that allows players to get accustomed to not only the basics, but eventually try out more advanced techniques like the dreaded bunny hop. These lessons do a fantastic job of explaining the various tricks of the trade, but even the most detailed account won't instantly translate into practical skills. The best advice one can give you is to be patient and understand you're going to fail a lot before things begin to click. Once you grasp it all and learn to put it to use in each level, you'll see rapid improvement in your completion times and rankings. The levels start off easy and are designed to accommodate a wide margin of error. Early stages don't require much more than knowing how to hold down the gas and lean your bike back and forth. Eventually, levels become so difficult that you likely won't even be able to complete them, let alone earn a medal. That's part of the beauty of Trials. There is always room to improve. And while there's a bit of something for every skill level, the skill ceiling stretches really high. Just take a glimpse at any of the ninja difficulty levels that look like you need to be a wizard to complete. Even if you can't overcome some of the game's harder levels, you can always go back to improve your performance on previous courses. Or you can try your hand at one of the various user-created stages to see just how creative the level design can get. While not every course is a winner, there are plenty of moments that highlight the sense of awe and wonder at the insanity of some of these levels' gimmicks. Not to mention, in similar fashion to previous entries, there are a few secrets scattered throughout the game. Some produce visual surprises, while others unlock hidden paths you'd otherwise miss. These provide another fun incentive to go back and replay older courses. While there certainly is enough to bring you back for more, Rising crosses the line in a nasty way by outright forcing you to periodically return to older levels in order to progress. Your character earns experience as you complete levels and challenges, and at first, the level system appears only to be tied to unlocking new bikes. However, at some point, you're likely to hit a roadblock, denying access to a new course simply because your experience level is too low. It's ridiculous that the feat of completing previous stages isn't sufficient to allow you to move on to your next objective, especially in a linear, level-based game like Rising. This is a huge annoyance that can quickly put the brakes on your enjoyment by forcing you to essentially grind out older levels for XP. Further compounding this problem is another of the game's nuisances, the inability to see all the tracks in a list view. Instead, you're forced to select levels from the world map, which is fine at first, but as you start making serious headway into the game, things get a bit cluttered. It's a small quality-of-life oversight that the developers acknowledged during the open beta, but as it stands at release, this feature is still missing. One area Rising prides itself on is the addition of character customization, allowing you to change up your rider's wardrobe and bike parts. It's strictly cosmetic and adds a little charm to the game, but while it would otherwise be harmless, these elements are tied to a loot box system. Every time you level up, you're rewarded with a loot box that contains 3 random superficial items, ranging from bike parts to stickers to new poses. All of these items can be obtained strictly through in-game means, but at the same time, you can spend real money to purchase more loot boxes if you're so inclined. So while it's not pay to win, it's still another game that sadly embraces a practice that is all but normalized at this point in the industry, despite increasing scrutiny. Though we played the full game on PlayStation 4, during the open beta period, we were able to try out the Switch and PC versions. All have issues with visual fidelity to some degree. The PC and PS4 versions suffer from extremely long load times, whereas the Switch version doesn't. However, the Switch is an outright downgrade, with missing assets on every level, and at points, it utilizes weather effects to mask the discrepancies. Rising has moments when it dazzles with its effects and set pieces, but it definitely lacks polish. Even after the long load times, textures and models still take time to fully render, sometimes not fully appearing until well into the level. There are also momentary freezes that occur near the start and end points of levels too. One final noteworthy issue with the Switch port is that the shoulder buttons do not allow for pressure sensitivity, so it's a binary stop or go. The workaround is the right analog stick, which functions the same as the gas button on other platforms, but that configuration will likely prove awkward for most people. Otherwise, Rising's controls are at the top of their game on all platforms. Online multiplayer runs smoothly for the most part, and it's easy to find matches in no time. The only weird thing is that you only see the other players as ghosts during the race, rather than seeing them side by side in real time as in the local party mode. The one major hiccup with our time in the online multiplayer is the trend of more skilled players picking the hardest levels from the available selection. The level with the most votes wins, but all too frequently, the hardest levels were selected. This leaves less experienced or more casual players at a severe disadvantage, to the point that you might get stuck on a single obstacle until the game times you out. This is absolutely no fun at all, and it's a major turnoff. To make matters worse, there is no recourse for this, as there's no custom rule setting or option to allow losers to pick the next course, which would alleviate some of the frustration. There doesn't seem to be any logic to the matchmaking at this time, so it's not like you can get paired with people at your skill level either. Finally, even courses you have never completed could come up in the selection of levels, which feels a bit unfair. There will be a private multiplayer option, but it's currently listed as coming soon. On the flip side, the local party mode makes its return, allowing up to 4 players on a system to go against each other in various levels and challenges. Players select the courses they want to play and can then set friendly wagers to each other to be determined by the outcome of the competition. Seeing each player in an individual lane rather than as a ghost not only increases the immersion, but also revs up the tension. Rising also adds a form of jolly co-op with the new tandem bike. 2 players control this unique bike in a team effort to reach the finish line in one piece. It's a fantastic idea for those who want to have a good time playing together and laughing at the insanity that ensues. Playing through levels in Trials Rising is as addictive as ever, and the in-game tip, making fun of the just one more time joke, still rings true. For most players, the challenge becomes unbelievably difficult toward the end, but there are always other alternatives if you hit a wall, whether it's multiplayer, trying your hand at the complex track editor, or going back to previous courses to improve your times. There are certainly a few faults along the way, given the visual hiccups, the lackluster soundtrack, and the lack of options online, but this is another solid performance from the Trials team. Easy Allies reviews are made possible by generous viewers just like you. If you like what you see, check out patreon.com/easyallies to help us make more. For just $1 a month, you can gain access to weekly updates, spoiler discussions, and exclusive shows.